Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds. If you've never joined me on my videos, I am a full-time reseller. I sell on 5 different platforms: eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Etsy. And this week was a decent week of sales. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how much money I made reselling this week. And that's going to be after shipping costs. That's going to be after platform fees, after even taking out money and putting it aside for taxes. So it'll be what my actual paycheck is for this week for my work. And so I'm going to share every item I sold, and I'm going to tell you how much profit I made off each item after cost of goods and platform fees. And then at the end, I will deduct a bulk shipping supplies, and then I will deduct money for taxes. And then I'll give you a grand total of exactly how much I made. I have a lot to share with you, so we're not going to talk a lot in this beginning of this video. I have over 60 items, and I did make a sale on all 5 of my platforms, and let's get started. This first one is a Sharif Original 1827 shoulder bag. It was new with the tag. I got this a long time ago, probably about over 2 years now, at a rummage sale, and it sold for $35 on a best offer, and my profit was $30.09. I'm not going to go into full detail about how much the platform fees were, how much my cost of goods were on every item, because I just wouldn't be able to get to everything because we have so many to go through. So I will be telling you what my total is, and that'll be after the platform fees and after my cost of goods, and at the end I'll deduct the rest. This is Betty Crocker's Cookie Book, and it's a first printing, first edition. This did sell for the $29.95 that you see, and my profit was $22.82. It just took a couple months to sell from an estate sale. This is a Vitality Extracts Aches and Pain, and this is essential oils. It sold for best offer of $17, and my profit was $9.50. I sold a fair amount of Angora yarn that you're going to see in this video, and this is the ACA Supreme Pure Rabbit Hair Angora. This is 3 balls, so only 30 grams total because they were 10 grams each. Sold for a best offer of $25, and my profit was $17.99. Pretty much all of my yarn, I just put a price of $2 per listing on them. This is the Great War in 3D book and viewer set. World War I. It sold for $14.95, and I just got it at a rummage sale. I made $8.21, so not the best profit in the world, but it did sell very quickly. Here's some Shiny Bright ball-shaped glitter solid color Christmas ornaments. I have a good amount of Shiny Brights that have gone out. I picked up some at an estate sale and then put them into small lots. This lot sold for $26.96. And I made $21.75 on this lot. And then here's some more yarn. So the next 3 are going to go to the same buyer, and the total for these 3 listings will be $100 that they sold for. So this is the second one, and then there's the third one. So those all sold for $100, and my profit on those balls of yarn was $78.26. Okay, the next 2 sets of flatware went to the same buyer. They are George Jensen Denmark Tannaquil Stainless Round Bowl Soup Gumbo Spoons. The round soup spoons tend to do better in patterns most of the time because they're just not as common. They also can be called gumbo spoons. And so both of these sold for $84. And by both, I mean the other lot of 2 as well. And so those sold for $84, and my profit was $69.53 on 4 spoons. These have been listed for quite a while, but they were new in the box, so that's fine. They're Arco Pedico. They weren't very I couldn't find a lot on these. Lolita Easy Walk Ballerina slip-on shoes, and they did sell for a offer of $26.69, and my profit was $17.26. This is Build-A-Bear Workshop. A lot of 14 pairs of sandals, shoes, skates, heels. Sometimes this is just the better way to go. You can part these out, absolutely, but I just didn't want to sell them for $5, $8 a piece, though you absolutely can. I would have made more money on this lot if I had done that. So this did sell for $32.95, and my profit was $14.56. This is the Franklin Library, Alice in Wonderland. This is the hardcover version of these books, and this one sold for $19.40, and my profit was $14.55 on it. Here's some Dansk Design stainless Thor pattern Finland set of 6 dinner knives, and this sold for $17.95. They did take quite a while to sell, but I did profit $12.37. There are certain patterns that, sometimes they just take a long time to sell. I have had flatware that's listed for 3 years sell. So you do have to be aware with that with flatware. I love it, and I don't mind that it takes a long time, but some people just don't want to do that, and that's okay. This is Arbonne Luxurious Almond Velvet Body Buff Body Scrub, and this one sold for the $9.95, and I got this in a bulk lot off Marketplace, and my profit was $5.35. Here's some more Shiny Bright. This is a terrible picture, but I couldn't make them stop rolling, so I just put them in the little box, and it sold for the $29.95 that you see, and my profit was $24.31 on these. And it's amazing because the tag on the boxes for these guys were $1. This is New Face Gel Primer by Carol Cole. I just picked this up at an estate sale. It sold for $24.95, and my profit was $18.23. This is Nancy Drew, Nancy's Mysterious Letter number 8 by Carolyn Keene, and it sold for an offer of $31.46, and my profit was $24.05. Here is some more yarn, and the next 4 went to the same buyer as well. It's a different buyer than the other yarn, but 4 balls, 5 balls, so 9, 12, and 16 balls of Angora yarn, so 10 grams each, and all of those sold for a total of $120 to the same buyer, and my profit was $95.53. Here is a puzzle. I don't pick up puzzles a ton now. I love puzzles, so sometimes I have to fight myself, but they just, with the shipping costs, they're just not typically worth it. And there are some, I do have videos on my channel that I can link those videos in the description, or I'll put them in the comment section and pin the comment and share that I do have a couple puzzle videos of ones that you can look out for that are worth good money. These are Suns. This one is a Suns Out 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, and it's a scarecrow fall cat, and it sold for $11.95, and my profit was $6.50, but this probably took a couple years to sell. It was not a good buy. Here's a California commemorative 1987 belt buckle, Siskiyou, and this is vintage enamel pewter tone. A Siskiyou is one of those brands you'll see quite a bit with belt buckles. This one sold on an offer of $19.76. Usually the odd numbered offers are ones that I had sent because I'll send out just a across the board 10% or something like that. And the profit was $14.31. Here's another belt buckle, and this is a sailboat belt buckle, Bergamot Brass Works nautical sailing boat, and this one sold for an offer of $8.96, and my profit was $5.61. I will say that I have been working more on my other social medias for my reselling channel now, so I am starting to post a little bit on Facebook, and I'm starting to post some on TikTok as well, and they're going to be a little bit different than what I post here. YouTube's still going to be my long form videos, but I'm trying to post 1, 2, 3 minute videos there, so for quick knowledge. And if you're interested in following either of those, it's just childhood finds either on TikTok or Facebook, and I'll link at least Facebook in the description. But I'm trying to experiment with different platforms to see, maybe if I can expand that side income. So that's what I've been working on this last week still. This is a Sony Car Discman portable CD player kit with accessories. I put untested, and then I put it in the 4 parts or not working category. This looks like it probably could have worked because it was basically brand spanking new, but I just wasn't going to chance that, so I put it in the 4 parts or not working, but it still sold for $39.95, and my profit was still $30.55. And this is where I got, If you remember from a previous What Sold where I got a really valuable remote from, over $100 was just sitting in this box. So that was definitely a good buy. This is Faltgraph 7 Roses, and it's 7 teaspoons. They've been listed for a while, so I took an offer of $12.50, and my profit was $8.59. But honestly, I would do that kind of profit any day with flatware because they're easy and they don't take up a ton of space. This is Scorpions Band Worldwide Live Songbook Guitar Tab book, and it sold for $24.95 that you see, and I made $20.04 off of it. Here's Jack London Deluxe Leather 2-book set, Tales of the North, Stories of Adventure, and it sold for $29.95. It was a nice set and really hadn't been used much, you could tell, and I made $18.94 off of it. This I just picked up at an estate sale, and it's Lucille by Owen Meredith Antique Leather book, and it sold for an offer of $28, and I made $19.84. I'm trying to make myself take more of these offers, even for items that have been pretty recently listed, because I figure, do I want to fight another month or two to get a couple more dollars? Sometimes I do. I absolutely do. But, this book, I kind of had to guess on the price, so I got a fair offer, and they took it. And the next 3 flatware sets went to the same buyer. The total was $67.85, and I did give them free shipping, so that's why the profit's going to seem kind of low for these guys. And the profit will be $45.13, and that's going to be this Reed & Barton Barrett glossy stainless. These are salad forks, and then 2 dinner forks, and 6 oval soup spoons, all to the same buyer. This is another belt buckle. This is Eastern Milk Producers Cooperative Belt Buckle Metal Vintage Cow Dairy. Sold for $14.95, and my profit was $10.70. This is an item that has been returned once, but it was because of a did not fit, so I wasn't out any money for that. And this is Bogner Sports Gone Thielman Ski Down Hooded Black Jacket, and it sold for $44.96 on an offer, and I made $24.66. This is a lot of 3 ResMed AirFit nasal cushions. These are part accessories to CPAP machines, but they're non-RX and they're not the masks or anything, so they seem to be fine to sell. And this one sold for $29.95, and I made $24.62. This is Deliverance by James Dickey, and it is signed. I got a best offer of $45, and my profit was $29.98. I have pretty much all the leather Franklin Library books you see in the future will be $7 into them, and then all of the belt buckles will be about $1 into them. This is The Trail of Painted Ponies, Vi's Violet Vision, and it sold for $29.95, and my profit was $18.16. This has been listed for a couple of years. It's a 2005 Starbucks Barista Plush Special Edition Boston Patriot, and it had a couple of condition issues, so when I got an offer of $20 for an international sale, I took it, and it's $14.47. Because as long as it makes it to that shipping hub, I don't have to worry about it. This is Tress of the Emerald Sea Secret Project, Brandon Sanderson, first edition, and I picked up all 4 in, I believe, this series at a rummage sale, and I paid like $1 each, if that, for them. And this one sold for $59.95, but then that buyer also came and bought the Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, that's another first edition, for $49.95. So both of those sold to the same buyer. The Tress was $45.73 profit, and this Yumi one was $38.19 of profit. Then this is Panasonic Cordless Phones Answering Machine. It was a new open box. I got a best offer of $59 and took it, and my profit was $46.67. So even though you think these phones might be outdated, there are still people that need them and want them. And when they're in great condition, even used ones like this sell. This is Sunset Designs Needlepoint Kit. This is Christmas Eve stocking, so obvious why it's selling right now. And it sold for $17.95. My profit was $12.11 on this. Okay, this is Crepe Erase Exfoliating Body Polish. I put this into a lot of 2. I got a best offer of 20 bucks. I just picked these up at an estate sale and still made $11.98. This is 4-place oval soup spoons, Cromargen, Laurel, Germany, and they sold for a best offer of $18. They've been listed for probably close to a year, but my profit was $12.77. This is The Annals and the History by P. Cornelius Tacitus, Franklin Library, and this one sold on an offer for $50, and then that buyer came and bought another one that I'll show you later. But this profit on this book was $33.33 because I did have some shipping that was removed, I believe, from this one. That's why the profit seems lower. And this is a lot of 64 vintage buttons on 14 cards. And I bought a pile of these at a sale. It's been a long time. And I put them into lots. Honestly, I'd probably do it again. I just might make bigger lots because they've been selling, not fast, but this sold for $12. And my profit was $9.57. I think in the future I would just kind of keep the same price point, but probably increase the amount of buttons. Here's some more shiny brights because the buyer that bought this other set came and bought this one as well, again for $26.96, and the profit was $21.75. Then this belt buckle is a Firefighter American Hero Eagle, and it sold for $5.95, so not a high value one, but I still made $3.40 off of it. This is Sears Lakewood Traditions USA set of 8 teaspoons. I put Oneida pattern too because it is the Oneida pattern, but it was a Sears branded one. So I just, I figured someone, even if they had, like if I had this pattern in Oneida and I could get it cheaper if I got the Sears version, I'd be getting the Sears version. I don't really care if it says something different on the back as long as it's the same pattern on the front. And this sold for $21, but it did take well over a year to sell, and the profit was $14.96. This is an ornate brass metal easel stand tabletop picture holder display, and it sold for $17.95. This one was a little more chintzy than my other ones, not as solid, but it still sold, and my profit was $13.55 on it. Then this is a Stanley Roberts Spectrum Light Pink Peach Stainless 4 teaspoons. This one I had to describe the color because none of the ones on replacements.com matched it. So I just described it, and I knew it couldn't have just been fading because I got a whole set like this. So I got an offer for $20 and I just took it, and I made $14.96. This is Matco Tools Brake Caliber Piston 18-piece wind? I'm going to guess wind back tool set. And I took an offer for $65 and made $35.73 on it. Is this upside down? I put the picture upside down. That's impressive. This is Greenlee 731 square radio chassis punch size 1/2 inch. And this sold for $39.95, and it sold within a couple weeks. I got it from my source, and I made $21.87 on it. This is Franklin Library Lucretius Marcus Aurelius Western World Series. Let's go for the tongue twister of the day. And this sold for $140, and I made $112.62. And this is Aldous Huxley Collected Short Stories, Franklin Library, and this sold for $25.95, and I made $13.25 on it. This is a Department 56 silver-plated stag, elk, deer, buck, pillar, candle, wine holder, Christmas, and it sold for $21.95. I got this at an estate sale and made $13.85 on it. This is an Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises, Franklin Library, and this one sold for $39.95, and my profit was $23.96 on it. Because again, I have $7 into all the Franklin Library books. And this is another one of those CPAP machine accessories, and it sold for $29.95 as well, and my profit was $24.54. And this is solid brass stocking holders, reindeer, long arm Christmas hooks. And this sold for $26.96 on a 10% off offer. And my profit was $19.70. This is a Platte River Trading Elk 13-inch plush stuffed animal. And it's been listed for a little while, probably 6 months. And I sold it for $15.26 on an offer and made $9.64. We are on the home stretch. I have one here on Mercari. This is a Bucilla Creative Needlecraft Victoria doll. This has been listed for probably 3 years plus, and it finally sold on Mercari for $13.50, and my profit will be $10.42. This is a Carter's Wind-Up Musical Sloth Gray-White Plush Stuffed Animal. It sold on Poshmark for $20, and my profit will be $15. And then this is on Depop. This is a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am belt buckle, and it sold for a best offer of $20, and my profit is $15.99 on it. And then just 2 more on Etsy. This is the PMC Philadelphia Manufacturing Company Oak Leaf Bookends, copper bronze tone, and they sold for $39.95 on Etsy, and my profit was $37.19. And then we have this last one. This is Ribbon Poinsettia Ivory Damask Tablecloth, and it's an oblong. I sold this for $21.95 on Etsy and made $13.83. So now let's talk about the profit. So the total amount that I made on all of these items was $1,423.02, and that's going to be after my platform fees and my cost of goods. And so I had 55 packages go out, so I deduct 75 cents per package because I had multiple items that, or buyers came and bought multiple items at once, so I didn't count those. So it's $41.25 that I'm going to be deducting for packing supplies. So that puts us at $1,381.77. And then we're looking at taxes. So I'm going to put aside 25%. And how I do that is I put that into a high yield savings account. And then my mom is a CPA, so she tells me how much I need to pay for my quarterlies. So I just pay that amount each quarter. And then whatever is left over, I save until the next year and I let it grow interest. And then if I need to pay more after doing taxes, then I have that already ready to go and don't have to scramble or worry. And that will be 25%. So that's going to be a total of $345.44 that I'll be putting in that account. So that leaves me with a full profit of $1,036.33. And I'm pretty happy with that. My low goal nowadays is around $1,000 profit across all of my platforms. So I am happy with that and hoping that I can still increase that more as we go into November and December for fourth quarter. So guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.